new series is featuring our neighbors to the north. Of course, we are talking about Wisconsin and the new series betting on Beloit. Konya Hendricks Schuh here to chat all about it. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
I have family that lives there. They love it. They've never lived anywhere else. I mean, talk a little bit about, kind of what that city means to so many people and also to your family.
Yeah, I mean, Beloit means a lot to my family because we truly just believe that this is the city that helped give, my parents their start when they were young entrepreneurs. But it's our community, so we want to see it thrive, and we want to see, and we think that Beloit has so much to offer. But like a lot of American cities, there's room for improvement, and that's what we're working on. We didn't like a few years ago when it was given the designation as the worst city to live in the state. We thought that was entirely untrue. So, just continuing our revitalization efforts to make Beloit a really desirable place to live and visit.
Let's talk a little bit about the show. What we're going to see. Obviously, tapping into your mom, his history with the town. Her passions, but also kind of making these houses, beautiful. We talk a little bit about what we're doing.
Yeah, so my mom's in the show, a little reluctantly. She doesn't love to be on camera and to put herself in the spotlight, but she really, wanted to do it just to change the narrative for Beloit. So she was willing to, take one for the team, so to speak. So, the show is about what's happening in real life, is her tasking me with this residential revitalization effort. So I formed a team, which includes my husband, my nephew Connor, who is a realtor with me, and then our project manager and general contractor, his name is Pete. And then I've got two of my great friends who are designers, so we kind of collaborate together on the decisions. So the series just follows all of us with 6 projects that we did in the course of the last year, and we buy the worst houses in the neighborhood and we bring them back, and we really just try to make them showpieces in the neighborhood and in the community. Trying to make.
You talked a little bit about your husband being part of the show, but he has a plumbing background, so I'm sure he's probably gotten a lot more than his fair share in the series.
Oh yes, no, he pitches in. He's kind of, Pete is on site every day, and Matt is there as needed, which ends up being a lot because these are old houses. We stumble upon, there's issues, things come up and unforeseen problems. So that's usually when we kind of call Matt in, and specifically for plumbing.
About your family and their connection to Beloit, because obviously this show is one part of it, and giving back and revitalizing. We have 6 projects, but your family is much more invested into the community. I mean, talk a little bit about some of the, the overall work they do, in kind of building up, Beloit.
Yeah, so like I said, I mean, our family just has a lot of gratitude for Beloit, and that they, this is the city that gave them their start. My parents, and in more recent years, my mom, since my dad passed away, just really doubled down on that effort. And I mean, she's built just what, it's kind of like it's kind of like whack-a-mole. Like there's a need, so she's going to fill it, or help to fill it. And there's other great people in the community as well that are doing exciting things. But our family has built 2 hotels, many restaurants. We actually just built a public charter school called the Lincoln Academy that my mom is just absolutely so proud of. We built a stadium, baseball stadium that houses a minor league baseball team, the Beloit Sky Cart. So there's just a lot of exciting momentum going on in Beloit, and my mom just, we just keep going. And
and also talk a little bit too about the community, because posts that I've seen about Beloit, obviously, it was given that title, but there's so many people that defend, their place, either they were born or they have relatives or that they were once a part of, or that's a neighboring town of theirs. I mean, there's so much strong community, and I think that's what makes it, and that's why people want to, just, live there and thrive there. I mean, talk a little bit about that sense of community that you see.
Oh, Beloit has an amazing community, and that's why we all stuck around. The vast majority of my family all still lives here. I mean, I just feel like, we're in Wisconsin, we're, Midwest values, really hardworking people here in Beloit. And yeah, there's a lot of multi-generational families that stick around and that care, and even, stuck with Beloit through through the hard times, you know, when Beloit Corp was our biggest employer, when they left town around the year 2000, it left Beloit in a bad way. And that's kind of when we really started focusing on bringing it back in this major revitalization effort.
And you know, and then one thing too for me is that I always get inspired by watching these shows. Is that I want to fix up my kitchen and redo this and redo that. Maybe a couple of tips for someone who can't maybe do everything, but you know, for decluttering, color storage. You know, what are some things that people can do right now just to make their houses look a little bit better, especially getting inspiration from the show?
I think, I mean, of course, I mean, easy things without doing a major overhaul and getting, you know, new kitchens and bathrooms, you know, are obviously huge. But I mean, quick things, I always feel like lighting. I feel like lighting can really update a space, you know, updating some of the key fixtures in a home, you know, dining room lights and foyer lights, like that really can change, you know, the vibe of the house and really kind of modernize. And of course, paint goes a long way too. So, you know, hopefully if people watch the show, they'll get, you know, every house is different. So, you know, if you like more modern or you like a little more of a country aesthetic or a very traditional classic design, like each episode and each house has a very unique personality.
Awesome. Well, I cannot wait to watch A&E's Betting on Beloit. Starts July 12th with back-to-back episodes. Then you can catch it the next day on the A&E website as well as on demand. Konya, thank you so much for your time today and your family's efforts and contributions to Beloit.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.